Okay. Rolling. Skip that. All right. And then... That. Okay. Oh, hey, people are here. Alien Loki A tier. Hey, Clasis Lika, how's it going? First One AS. I'm Dachana. Hope I'm getting that right. You've predicted me 50% correctly. One of those movies I think is decent. One of those movies I think is fantastic. Oh, my toast is ready. I might change this song. This is way too much guitar. Sorry about that. I'll just go with the standard. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. I woke up kind of on the wrong side of the bed, but yeah, just trying to cheer up and get focused. I'm hoping to put out this video in like 2 days or something crazy. I don't know how it's gonna be possible, but we're gonna make it. Good afternoon. Hoping you're enjoying the weekend. We will see, Gustavo. We will see. Give me 1 second. I gotta grab something. But yeah, I created this tier list. Apparently, this doesn't exist on the tier maker website, so I made this. It should be live there somewhere. If you want to do your own tier list, just look up 2024 horror movies and on tier list maker, and this should pop up. I'm going to change a couple things, though. For example, I don't like the colors. Too much green, you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Like, this should be that, and F should be blue, and this should be gray. That looks better. And I moved this order around a bit. We're going to talk about The Crow first, because let's start off with a bang. Am I right? Am I right? But yeah, let me just grab something really fast, and we can just get started. Coolio. I'm very curious to know what everyone's favorite and least favorite horror movie is that came out this year. Mine will be pretty apparent as I move through this, but very curious about you guys. And also, welcome. What's up, Tep? Before you ask, no, I haven't been able to start Syrian Lane yet, but I will. Let me, hold on, let me start recording. Wait. Okay, test. Okay, looking good. Syrian Lane, yeah. I get you. Not an easy show to remember, just gonna say it. Not the easiest thing in the world. How's my mic sound, everybody? Darth Vader, how's it going? How are your legs feeling? Last time I saw you, you got them chopped off. Okay, so I think we're gonna just jump in. Mostly this is gonna be improv, and I will try to make sure this isn't 2 fucking hours. So as some of you guys probably know, about About a month or so ago, I did a video talking about all the horror movies I saw that year, and the responses were quite spirited. And there were quite a few. There were some horror movies I missed. There's some horror movies people wanted me to expand upon, and so since then I've been catching up on some horror movies, and now I want to do a tier list talking about all the horror movies I saw in 2024. Much more extensive list, and we will just go through them right now. So what's the best? What's the worst? Everything in between. All the horror movies of 2024, for the most part. Here we go. Depp says, watch mall movies way too long, but did feel like a really shocking Black Mirror episode. That does not bode well. If a Danish horror movie that's too long sounds like excruciating to me, because what was it? Speak No Evil was short, and it felt like 17 hours to get through it. His legs got chopped off. Darth Vader, the Anakin. It's hard for me sometimes to compare, like, to think of Anakin as Darth Vader, because Darth Vader was like this really interesting, complex badass, and Anakin was like a whiny shithead who can't act. So it's like, it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to merge those two. Anyway, the only horror movie I saw this year was Longlegs and Heretic. Yeah, so Heretic, which I'm going to talk about, is the most recent. I actually saw it last night. So yeah, let's dive in. MaXXXine wasted opportunities. Oh yeah, Gustavo, we're going to get into that. Don't you worry. All right, so first, the Crow remake. Let's just start things off with something non-controversial. The Crow remake gets an F. This is one of the worst films I've seen this year. I mean, what more needs to be said? The plot is just edgelord, try hard, cringiness. The actress, which people have corrected me about, so a lot of people have noted that the actress is actually a musician named FKA Twigs, and so yeah, that doesn't excuse her acting in any regard, but it does kind of reframe my criticism in that I don't really blame her for such an abysmal performance. I blame whoever's idea it was to cast her. She was clearly not up to the task. They were obviously trying to grab a certain type of market with her casting. She can't do it. I mean, you could have gotten a better performance out of a brick with a smiley face. Or no, you could have gotten a better performance with a brick with a like smirk on the top of it. There is just, the performance lacks emotion, it lacks confidence. It's just bad. It would fail any audition if I think they audition anyone for this movie. It's boring. The plot is meandering and doesn't really go anywhere until the finale. It's, oh god, it's, I don't understand why they even remade this thing. There was no one out there asking for a remake of the original Crow. Oh boy, I mean, I stand by my original statement that this movie is the equivalent of a motivational speaker for teenagers sitting on a chair backwards. It's just a try-hard, horribly paced cringe fest with nothing that made the original special. Yeah, and also, as far as FKA Twigs, do not give me that she was good for a musician nonsense, because the movie Kneecap starred 2 Irish rappers and they dominated the screen. So I don't want to hear that excuse. It's a terrible movie, the acting's horrible, and it's trying too hard in the wrong places. Watch this movie for 10 minutes and you'll be tempted to turn it off. The only purpose of this movie, really, is for people to make kind of over-dramatic TikTok edits of the main 2 stars. That is the audience. Other than that, this thing really serves no purpose and should not have been made. Okay. Next. Yeah. Alien Romulus, which I'm going to be slightly generous and give it a B. I really liked this movie up to a point. I love the fact that it still felt atmospherically true to the Alien franchise. It was gritty, it was ominous, but also it started to deviate. The plot delved a bit more into androids, their psychology, and their function. I love the use of yellow and reds in the color scheme as opposed to the kind of brown and blue that we're used to. There's a nice mixture of CGI and practical effects. All of the makeup and creature design is appropriately gooey. So I really love what they were doing with the characters. Were fine enough to at least kind of get the plot to where it needed to go. And I honestly thought that maybe the Alien franchise was just dead in the water and there's nothing new they could really do with the Alien life cycle. But this movie surprised me. They made facehuggers scary again. They showed different aspects of the life cycle that I quite enjoyed. So this film, I think, is bursting with new ideas. Everyone's going to be talking about that acid blood sequence, which, again, is, trying to explore every single nook and cranny that's gone unexplored in this franchise so far. I think overall it's well directed as well. But, and of course, like everything, as you can imagine, the music, the sound design, like all that stuff is really on point. The problem is the fan service is just abysmal, and the worst part is that it's totally unnecessary. It does not need to be there. It might be the worst fan service I've ever seen in a good film. And I see, I'm not trying to call out anyone specifically, but I see reviews like, well, I'm a fan and I got service. And all I can think in response to that is, well, good for you. You sure do take instructions from Border Collies well. I'm sorry, but it hurts the story. It completely takes it out of the current environment. And again, it's just not needed in the slightest. The CGI Ian Holm, first off, I'm sorry, but first off, doing a CGI representation of a dead actor is creepy. Full stop. Second, it looks like hell. And again, you could have done something practical. You could have used a different character. There are so many routes you could have gone with, and they went with the cringiest one, and I just don't understand why. And then, of course, we can't not mention that line they used from the movie Aliens. I won't spoil it, but you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the film. It is a bottom feeder parasite of a moment, and I can only hope it somehow deletes itself from my brain. In all these, with all these criticisms, I'm still going to leave it at B because there's so many strong elements to this film, from the practical and CGI effects, from the experimentation of the alien, the moodiness that's installed in this film. So I think there's great things about it, but it really, really kind of let itself go in that third act. And if they're doing a sequel to this, if the director's doing this project again, I really, truly hope that he doesn't feel the need to do that. Depp, you do need to watch Blade Runner 2049. Depp, you seem to like atmospheric films quite a bit, and Blade Runner 2049 is gorgeous. It is beautifully shot, very colorful, amazing music. Watch it. I liked it so much more in the second watch. Hey, beginner mindset Johnny, hello. By the way, if I start neglecting people in chat, I'm so sorry. I'll try to catch up on chat in between all these movies. I agree, Darth Vader. The Crow was almost as bad as Madam Web. I think Crow might be worse. No. I think Madam Web is worse. Crow is really bad, but some effort went in. Madam Web is just dog shit. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, Crow remake, honestly, what were they thinking? All right, Tarot. So the only reason I watched Tarot is because we did the wheel game where I watch movies that fans are picking, and one of my Patreon members made me watch Tarot, and it's an F, and I'm pretty sure they only made me watch it so I could suffer. This is crap. This is a terrible movie. I go into more detail in that video, but I think what was most shocking about it was we're in 2024, and films with these kind of budgets that get this much attention on Netflix are making such amateur mistakes in the screenwriting. I don't just mean I don't just mean like I didn't personally like the dialogue. Like these are screenwriting 101 no-nos that this movie commits. I know I've said this again, but you do not in your first act have characters say out loud, "You've been my best friend for 5 years," and like say these, like no one talks like that. It's awkward as shit, and anyone who reads your script is going to immediately clue in that you don't know what you're doing. It's such amateur shit that high schoolers learn to bypass. And to see it in this kind of movie is just so insulting. Like, why? How did this screenwriter get, how did the screenwriter get the kind of opportunity that writers everywhere are begging to get? It's embarrassing to watch. So the dialogue in this movie is horrendous. I think the dialogue might be even worse than The Crow. It's just bad. It's clunky. It's embarrassing. It's clearly written by older people trying to capture the 17 to 21-year-old spirit. They failed miserably. The actors aren't very good either, but I don't fully blame them because no one could look good saying this kind of dialogue. I think some of the creature design is okay. There's a sequence with like a stage magician that's kind of interesting. But other than that, honestly, there's no reason to watch this. This is clearly made for teenagers, and unfortunately, a lot of those horror movies, when they're written with that very specific audience in mind, they tend to be really bad. And it's unfortunate because I've seen movies that are PG-13, that are horror, starring young actors that are 10 times better than this. Watch, what was it? Watch Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. There are so many others that I could mention. Watch Coraline, but don't watch this. It's so poorly written, and there's other problems with it as well. Every single horror cliche is in this thing. I mean, literally, if you have a checklist of horror cliches, you'll be just marking them off consistently, especially in the first act. It's bad. It's not scary. Cheap jump scares aplenty. Don't watch it. Deb, that's funny. Yeah, Buys is a good Gen Z horror movie, but that's more of a horror comedy. But I agree with you. Alright, Apartment 7A. I am so torn between a C and a D here, because it's probably technically more of a C. There's really good production design. The lead actress does a great job. In the first, I would say 20 minutes, some of the editing is almost on an expert level. So there's very strong aspects to this movie, and I was very much into it for that kind of introductory 20 or so minutes. But then it decides to do something that is just so strange to me, and that's act as a prequel to Rosemary's Baby, but also act as a remake at the same time. So you're watching something that is coasting on the original in two separate ways. It's bonkers. Every time it does something new, it's interesting. The way the devil is depicted is suitable for the character and interesting to look at. I've never seen something like that before. But then it keeps falling back on just doing Rosemary's Baby. Fuck this. I'm leaving that a D. I'm sorry. It probably should be a C. But it just reeks of fear of doing anything new. Rosemary's Baby is a fantastic movie. And when I'm watching your movie, it should never enter my brain of, oh, maybe I should just watch that one instead. That should never happen. And I've heard some people defend this by saying, well, that's the point. It's scary because it keeps happening over and over. Okay, well, let me ask you a question then. Has a joke ever been funnier if you hear it the second time immediately after the first? No, it's not. The joke is never funnier the second time you hear it. So, why? Why do it? It's just going to be a downgrade in every single possible way. It's stupid. It's not scary, and it just repeats the fucking movie note for note. And I cannot support that. Even if you're remaking it, you should be deviating as much as you can while keeping the spirit alive. I mean, at least the Crow remake was actually kind of different. It was terrible, but at least they deviated. This doesn't. It's copy and paste. Insane. And again, I don't want to hear, oh, well, it's for a new generation. Okay, if someone cannot sit through the original Rosemary's Baby, then how do I put this? They don't deserve a remake. Just watch the original. I'm like, there are reasons to remake things. Rosemary's Baby pretty much peaked at that. No one was gonna make it any better, so just leave it the fuck alone. And don't tell me they remade this out of some kind of deep artistic purpose. No, they remade it because they wanted to get some cheap nostalgia out of it, and that's what they ended up with. D tier. Some serious promise at the beginning, but I just cannot abide the Control-C, Control-V type of filmmaking. I can't, and I won't. Can you do a horror movie cliche drinking game for tarot? Oh my god. If you did a drinking game for tarot where you drink every time there's a horror cliche, you would die 20 minutes in. I mean, they're all there. The flickering candles, the creaky doors, the gusts of wind, all of them are in the movie. Every single one. The only thing's not in there is like the gratuitous shower scene, and that's because it's PG-13. Jesus. Beginner mindset, yeah, we'll get into that too. I kind of agree with you, actually. Hey, Misty. I didn't see you come in. Yeah, thanks for making me watch tarot. Appreciate it. And apologies for the toast. I didn't eat breakfast yet. All right, let's do another one. Here's another one that a lot of people told me to watch, and that's Smile 2. I'm very torn on this one. I'm kind of caught between a B and a C. Everyone wants me to put S, and I think that's ridiculous. I will say this. It is significantly better than the first Smile. I didn't like the first Smile. It was too reminiscent of It Follows and... No. It was too reminiscent of It Follows and Truth or Dare. I don't think the concept is inherently scary. I find it more cringy than anything. The protagonist is unlikable, and that birthday party scene is hilarious. Like, one of the funniest scenes of cinema that year. But Smile 2 was a big improvement. Oh god, I'm so torn. It's like just sad to even have it next to Alien Romulus. I'm gonna leave it at C for now, but it could go up to B. Honestly, like, don't cut my head off for putting that. I do think it's a lot better than the first. In pretty much every way. The editing and the camera movements are more creative and motivated. The original music is interesting. The intro is fun and brutal, even though the dialogue is super clunky. The pop star music and the choreography actually, like, it was something I could actually envision in real life, unlike the movie Trap that we'll get into. The movie also offers a lot more gore than I was expecting, and it really makes you look at the gore. The story also does an effective job depicting the stress of a music tour and how important it is to surround yourself with people who actually care about your well-being and not those who hold you with one hand and shove you on stage with the other. But there's a lot of hiccups. The drug dealer is a terrible actor, and as is the crazy fan at the signing. I was really just dying watching their performances. I don't think the main concept is scary, but at least this time they're not solely relying on it. Sometimes the lead actress is great, other times not so much. But I think my biggest problem with this movie is twofold. One, it's very repetitive. The whole middle of the film felt like the same scene on repeat. And the second thing is, with a concept that's this, in my opinion, goofy, I mean, it really is silly, from the creature design to the fact that people have these over-the-top smiles walking around. I kind of wish the movie had leaned into that cheesiness a bit more, but they seem to be taking themselves very seriously. For me, that's not the right call, but it does seem to be working for a lot of people. Like I said, Smile 2 is much better than the first. I don't find it scary, except for maybe some moments in the finale, but a big improvement. They were clearly trying to be a bit more vivid, a bit more creative. but it's not serving a particularly good story, and the dialogue and some of the performances need some help. People are calling this the masterpiece, the best of the year. I intensely disagree. I think we can ask more from our performers, from our script writing, but I mean, I'll always champion an improvement, and this was a solid improvement from the first. It Follows is S tier. Fuck yeah, it is. It Follows is awesome. It Follows is so much better than Smile 2. Jesus. Is it scary? No. Smile 2 is not scary, but it is visceral and tense. But other people found it terrifying. So, you know, that we're getting to more kind of emotional analysis here. If the first, I will say this, if the first Smile scared you, this probably will as well. It has less jump scares, but more kind of suspense and gore. So if you want something kind of more hard hitting, it'll work even more for you. Beginner, yes, it is, but spoiler, I guess. I did not see it. It's going into the didn't watch category. I'm gonna minimize this real quick so you can kind of. Is that better? You can kind of just see everything I'm going to talk about. There we go. All right, that's everything left. Yeah, a little minimizing. All right. All right, next up, Corpse Washer. You didn't see this. I barely remember it. I'm giving this C. It starts with an interesting. It starts with an interesting profession that it at least delves into a little bit, but unfortunately it suffers from a problem I see with quite a few foreign horror films. It shares a problem I see with a lot of foreign horror films where it has an interesting setting, or at least one I find interesting because I don't get much exposure to it, but then it feels a need to kind of copy the kind of cliche Americanized horror moments, like the specific jump scares, certain imagery, the way things are framed and things like that. So it has this kind of, it has a more special frame, it has a more special framing around the film, but it keeps dipping its toes into the Americanized cliches that it really doesn't need to. So it's like bouncing back and forth between original and I've seen this done a million times and I've seen it done better. That's the other thing, is if you're going to copy like another country or like another country's filmmaking tactics, let's call them, you should try to do them justice. I'm not saying America necessarily owns jump scares, but it's like the very specific ways that these scares are delivered feel very Hollywood, and they're just not well done in this film. It's not very good CGI. The story is pretty bland and boring. I forgot most of this film, so I can't really recommend it. Devil's Bath. Also C, but for very different reasons. This one has a great setting. I love how gritty and tactile the whole setting feels. It's obviously dealing with some pretty potent themes regarding oppression, but it's just dull. It's not particularly eventful. I can't really find too much fault with anything like the set design, cinematography, or performances. But the story is just so uninvolving and needlessly slow. I had a lot of trouble getting into this one. If you really, it's not that I can't watch a slow horror film, I can, but I feel like the film has to still keep me engaged. It can't just be slow to be slow. This one didn't need this kind of pacing. I don't think it serves the film. Just pointing out there, because I'm lazy, does the YouTube app on Apple TV show the chat? I don't know. That's a good question. Yes, Deanne, that is my watch list. I will watch that. Abigail. Again, pretty torn between a B and a C. It's funny because I'm like, if you're to compare it to like Smile 2, for example, it's weird. Smile 2 tried more. It had a bit more ambition, which I want to give it credit for. However, I think Abigail was making me, like, when I was watching Smile 2, I was kind of hovering over, like, the skip button. I was, especially in the middle, because it was so repetitive. Abigail, I feel like, achieves its goal a bit better. However, I still might have to leave it at C. It's very close to B. Maybe it'll change. I don't know. Again, people were chanting for me to talk about Abigail. People seem to really love this and actually understand why. It's a fun concept. A bunch of criminals are locked in a house with a young girl. They think that she's the victim, but turns out they're going to turn into victims. I think my problem with this movie is just its inconsistency. It's having fun, and I think that is great. I'm glad that it's not taking itself super seriously or trying to be too dramatic with its characters. I love that. Gold star for that. My problem is, again, the inconsistency. So some of the actors, like the tall guy, I don't remember his name, are great. The other actors, like the blonde woman, are terrible. So it's just bouncing emotions going on when you're watching this. She doesn't have a good line delivery. The dialogue written for her is not very good, and she has one of the worst horror screams I've ever seen. Giancarlo Esposito shows up playing the same character he's been playing for the past decade. Nothing really special there. And also, I gotta say, I wasn't a big fan of the actual vampire in this movie. First of all, give me fangs. These little ridges thing, it's not working. And she's just not very scary when they actually evolve her into the vampire. It's not good. It's not scary or interesting. It just looks kind of like, I don't know. There's just something so bland and unimaginative about it. Either go classic or show me something new, and this is very much in between. It's kind of a lame design, and I'm very sad about that. I've heard explanations for it, but still bothers me that they use music from Swan Lake. It's like the most overplayed ballet music you can possibly use, and just I don't know, and I just felt like some of the action scenes didn't really make sense, like how one guy gets stabbed in the chest 30 times and he walks it off like he stubbed his toe. I mean, he's a big guy. I guess he didn't skip chest day, but still. DN, tier lists are weird with ratings. Like, I don't know, if something is an 8 out of 10, it could still get S. It's hard. It shows, but you can't participate. Oh, okay. That's good to know. Like I said, I might pump this up to B because I did have fun, and I can't fault it for not being fun, but I don't think it's as fun as it thinks it is. I really do think some of the performances, the lame design of the vampire, and even some of the gore not being that interesting, I think they could have just been a little bit more creative with some of these kills and with some of the action sequences. It just wasn't quite there. I feel like they could have reached a bit further. Yeah, they stole the teeth. Yeah, the teeth were bad, man. It was bad. I don't know. It's interesting because part of the movie I actually liked the most was before all the craziness happened, when they're kind of setting up the characters and everything, because none of them are likable and not all of them can act, but it was at least kind of interesting suspense. And then when it went full chaos, it just got sillier and sillier. And silly is fine, but you gotta make it special. You have to really go hog wild and show me something I've never seen before. And on that front, I feel Abigail kind of dropped the ball. I think this is a perfect rental. I think this is something you throw on the TV at night with a bunch of people and some beer. It's perfect for that. But I'm still gonna have to leave it at C, unfortunately. I can't quite bump it up to Alien Romulus level, but maybe I will by the end of this video. You never know. Kevin Durant, thank you. I really liked Kevin Durant in this movie. He was the best part for me. Heretic. I just watched this last night, and I'm giving it a B. Heretic is funny. First off, it's horror, and it's not at the same time. What do I mean by that? I think this movie does a great job building its suspense. Hugh Grant, I never would have expected him in this kind of setting, but his sort of cheekiness, his big smile, and just the politeness, the kind of inherent politeness that kind of wafts from him when he's speaking, so perfectly create an uncomfortable mood. It's amazing how much context can lend. He's also not doing the sort of stuttering thing that he's known for. He's just well-spoken and polite. And then as You know what this is? This is kind of, you know, it's funny. This is kind of doing what the Smile movies try to do and don't work for me. When someone's smiling for too long, it's creepy, right? But in Smile, it's not, because it's just so exaggerated. And it's the same thing over and over. Like, it's just a smile and nothing else. Heretic gives you the feeling of someone smiling at you for too long, and you're just kind of looking around the room, and it very slowly sinks in you that something's wrong. That's the feeling of Heretic. Yeah, Kevin Durant, Depp. I don't think for a lot of people this is going to work as a kind of typical horror movie, because a huge chunk of this film is a religious lecture. Now, for me, I found it fascinating. For one, you know, I was raised Catholic. My religion has changed over the years. And so I also have Jews and Muslims in my family. So I have decent knowledge of the kind of main religions, and I like hearing religious discourse. So these lectures for me were fascinating. You know, historical context, how religion is applied today, how it can be manipulated. All of that was great, both depicting religion in both positive and negative lights, that kind of debate. All of that was fascinating. I thought it was very well written. So, and I believe, and the dialogue suited the characters perfectly. So all that was great. My only real flaw with this movie is the ending. The ending is terrible. And it's so unfortunate, because it's one of those things, it's one of those movies, it's one of those stories that try to be too clever. And I love cleverness, but it also has to kind of make sense. And in this case, I won't spoil what it is, but this is the kind of movie that's going to leave you intensely dissatisfied, because instead of giving us an ending, it tried to go a more mysterious, you decide kind of route, when the movie leading up to that doesn't quite justify that. Especially in the third act, this becomes very much more, like, less philosophical and more horror themed. And to kind of just pull the rug out from under us at the end was more annoying than anything. I don't like, you know, I think there's some value to tricking an audience to a certain extent if there's purpose behind it. I don't think wasting the audience's time or insulting the audience has any merit whatsoever. This is why Joker 2 sounds like a piece of shit. I still haven't seen it, but just the concept I find frustrating. Also, we have 33 people watching. Holy shit. Anyone who didn't say hi in chat, please say hi in chat. And this is for a video, by the way. Yeah, look, and I'm not, maybe that's not fair. I wouldn't say that Heretic has an insulting ending. Like, that's going too far. It's just very unsatisfying, and I don't think the film itself justifies it. And I have a strong feeling that most people watching Heretic, when it ends, are just gonna go, oh, okay. And it's a terrible ending to have. You don't want that kind of ending, especially when it's all build up. This whole movie is build up. And when you build up, you have to have a payoff. And this one doesn't. So it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. However, I would still highly recommend this film. I was really, I was very much enjoying the discussions, the slow tension building. Our two characters who kind of get stuck in a situation, they don't act logically at first, but then they do once they realize that danger is apparent, and I liked some of their decision making. Hugh Grant, like I said, he is fantastic. I was very much shocked at how that worked, but then again, and as we'll see later, sometimes people who are more affable, who are more, focused on, who we associate more with comedies or romances, that can work beautifully in horror. It's that role reversal, and it's just going from one side completely to the next in terms of genre can just birth something wonderful, and it really worked with Hugh Grant. I think all three actors do a pretty good job, but Hugh Grant really steals this. So, liked it. Loved it until I didn't anymore. I think this should have ended just with a bang, not a whimper. Also, hi, and hello, Alexer Wim. How's it going? Alexander. How's it going? Sorry, piece of toast. It's gonna get crunchy in the mic for a second. So sorry. Didn't eat yet. Very bad. Oh my god, we could do the wheel game after this. We have so many people now. I'll try to speed this up a bit. And then just test to see if I'm still recording. Yes, I am. Okay. Exhuma. Everyone's gonna turn off this video. God damn it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm giving it a C. I'm sorry. Everyone's telling me it's an amazing movie. You gotta see it. One of the best things of the year. I love Korean horror films. I love Korean films in general. Like, they're great. Love Parasite. Love The Wailing. I mean, there's so much talent here. There's good filmmaking. There's Choi Min-sik, amazing actor. It's just so boring. It's so dull. I could not get into this. I tried watching this twice. I can't. I try so hard. It's so, I feel almost like a hypocrite, because sometimes I wish a horror movie would go into the lore, would explain these specific practices and these specific practices and tools and other aspects to, you know, their religion, to their what do you call it, to their exorcisms, you know, kind of making these very almost absurd kind of spiritual weapons and bring it down to earth a bit. Like, I like that sometimes in movies, but this was just plotting. It was just so slow. It was nothing but explanation. It was nothing but explanations and exposition. And it's a horror movie. I need some bite, just a little bit more bite. It's too long, and I don't think it's scary. I mean, the first kind of jump in the movie features a snake, and it's like one of the dumbest things I've seen this year. I don't know. I recognize other people love this. I really, truly wanted to love this movie. I just can't. The movie would not let me. I was bored senseless. I'm sorry. I liked Incantation better. I liked Incantation better. I liked The Wailing better. I think those dive into, you know, religious horror much more effectively than this. I felt no emotions from this film other than just being bored. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna get so much shit for this. I can't. Go watch if you want to see it. There's definitely talent on screen, but I can't give it anything above a C because I was just checking my phone. And I don't have a low attention span, trust me. I've seen movies that are longer and slower than this. It's the plot. The plot wouldn't let me in. Oh god, DN, okay. Tamara says, I'm gonna be honest, I thought Trap was a decent movie. I know the third act was kind of disappointing as a finale, and I was hoping a bigger twist, but still entertaining. Trap was entertaining. It was dumb as fuck, but it was entertaining, at least for that first third. That was the best part for me, you know? It was just... I can't say it's a good movie, though. I mean, it's like, some of the acting is just, like, atrocious. I don't understand why M. Night can't work with actors anymore. I mean, since Split, he hasn't really done a good job with actors. I don't know what's going on with him. Anyway, here's a kind of a small movie to highlight small creators. Milk and Cereal. I'm counting this because it's an hour long and it's on YouTube, and I consider that a film. But I especially want to shout this out because I think this is a really good movie to watch if you want to make a film, if you want to make a short series on YouTube or something like that. All right, Deanne, goodbye. I'm giving Milk and Cereal a B. I wish it leaned more into its horror aspects rather than its kind of time jumps and you know, the complicated plot elements. I think he was going for that just because it's fun and it's impressive for a movie with basically no budget to have things like time jumps and have a plot that's this, to a certain extent, complicated. But the horror elements here are so eerie and effective that I just wanted more of that. I wanted more of the killer. I wanted more of that actor, because this guy is a comedy actor. You've seen him on shorts on YouTube and TikTok and all of that. And again, having someone switch that comedy into horror can be so effective, and it works beautifully here. Yeah, Troy, I don't have Speak No Evil, and I will explain why. Actually, I'll just explain why now. So the Speak No Evil remake is not here because I saw the original Speak No Evil and hated it. I can't. It is incredibly boring to me. I'm of the opinion that one of the easiest things you can do in a film is to be awkward or uncomfortable. Tense is hard. Uncomfortable is easy as shit. Anyone can do that. And Speak No Evil, the original, was just lazy, uncomfortable awkwardness for an hour and a half, and then stuff started to happen. The characters are morons, and I could not empathize in any way with their decision making. I know horror movies have stupid characters doing stupid things, but this was more of a drama that wanted me to sympathize with people, and I just couldn't. So I also don't think it's performed particularly well. I think it's shot kind of badly. It's very bland visually. So I cannot get behind the original. And if I hate the original, it doesn't give me a lot of motivation to watch the remake. Maybe it's good. I love James McAvoy. He's a fantastic actor. Maybe they can mine some more from the concept, but it's not exactly high on my watch list, I won't lie. All right, handling the undead. Yeah, gonna go with D again. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna sound like the most kind of, oh, jeez. Yeah, oh, geez, Rick. I know already I sound like someone who just can't be kept awake, and I promise you that is not who I am. But of all the movies today, I think this one might be the most excruciatingly boring. I think Handling the Undead is shot well. I think there's some interesting kind of play with colors and shot composition. Has this kind of old, muted scratchiness to the visuals that I kind of dig as well. Almost feels kind of retro, but so boring. It's so boring. I feel like this video is gonna be boring the more boring films I talk about. It's dull as dishwater, and I honestly, I had so much trouble finishing this film, and I feel like a lot of people will as well. Some will say it's a masterpiece. I am over the moon that you enjoy this one. I can't. You gotta have something happening in the movie. You can't have someone walk around for that long without nothing happening. It's not clever to me. It's not suspenseful. It's wasting my time. And I felt like this movie kind of wasted my time. I really do. There has to be a purpose to your pacing. And here, I didn't see it. There are movies that are glacially slow and for certain sequences, and I think it can be wondrous to behold. Other movies are over-edited, way too fast, and that can actually have purpose too. There's an animated movie called Mononoke, the movie, and the editing is too much, but there is a purpose behind it. Here, this thing needed to be sped up. I'm sorry. All I see is the movie trying to be slow just to be slow, because apparently that makes your film profound, and it doesn't to me. I repel against that ideology completely. I'm sorry. It's dull. Cuckoo! Again, we're on that kind of border between B and C. I'm gonna be generous, and I'm gonna give it a B. I think I gave it a 6 in my original rating. I think I still would give it a 6, so I'll give it like a B- if we're calling it that. I think there's value to Cuckoo. I really do, and it's a movie that didn't fully work for me, but it's one of those things where if I'm giving something like a C or a 6 or anything like that, it can act as a warning. It can act as a don't see this, don't waste your time. Like The Crow. The Crow remake, don't watch The Crow remake. But Cuckoo is one that didn't fully work for me, but I would still encourage people to watch it and make up their own mind about it, because the thing with the film is that it's nuts, and it's incredibly inconsistent, but it's supposed to be. And while I'm glad it's achieving its purpose, at the same time, it is a frustrating watch. The acting is inconsistent. The plot is going in all these different directions, so it's hard to feel like you're in a story or you're being engaged emotionally. I was watching the movie pretty blank-faced for most of it. So, why am I leaving that B or B-? It's because I think there's a lot of talent going on in this film. There are certain sequences that I do think are just excellent. I love how this thing is shot. I like how the sun is actually kind of glaring in many aspects, which provides this kind of, you know, mysterious haze to the visuals. Cuckoo was directed by the same guy as Luz. Well, that makes sense. I think Luz is probably better than this, but there's a scene in this movie involving the bicycle, and that scene's fantastic. This is one of my favorite horror sequences of the year, so I'm gonna leave it at B. I do think it's better than the ones in the C category, but again, it's strange. If you want an atypical horror experience that doesn't seem to obey its own tone that it's setting up, check it out. I found it a bit frustrating, but I do think it's something that's worth a watch, especially if you're looking for something a bit off the beaten path. All right, Immaculate. I'm leaving at C. Remember, you know how I've been complaining about a bunch of these movies kind of just being too slow and need to speed up? This one needs to slow the shit down. This is way too quickly edited. I mean, this movie is impatient as hell. It's just flying through all these different plot points, and it is impossible to get, you know, emotionally involved in what's going on. Sydney Sweeney, yeah, she does a good job. I don't think it's incredible or anything, but she's good. You know, she cries, she yells, she gets scared, so she's doing her job. But I never felt like I was being bathed in any kind of horror atmosphere. There wasn't much suspense building. It was more like I was just being pulled, like yanked through all these different points. Like, oh, this happened. Then there's these characters. Look up there. Oh, look, someone fell. Oh, she's pregnant. Okay, and just so fast. And I like quick movies. I think we need a return of the 90-minute film. I miss them. There's some amazing films that are 90 minutes and give you so much emotion and action and drama. So I don't like that these incredibly stretched out films is now becoming the norm. What's the third film after Heretic? Oh, it's called Milk and Cereal. It's really good and it's on YouTube. Shoestring budget, but solid. Also, hi, welcome to the stream. I can't believe I have 38 people right now. This is wild. I think this is like the most I've ever had. So you guys are all amazing, and I'm probably going to take a shot for all of you. Right after this, though. So, aspects I like about Immaculate. Sydney Sweeney is good. There's a clever use of blood that I quite enjoyed involving a bird. And I like the red screens over people's faces. I think that's a pretty powerful image. That is true, Misty. You can. But I'll also do like a rundown at the end. I'll kind of read them all off. However, what I didn't like, I think it could be shot better. It's way too fast. I could not get emotionally invested in this. And by the time we get the ending where people are like running through tunnels and everything, the tone's just wrong. It's not fast enough to be frightening, but it's not slow enough to be suspenseful. It's just this kind of bland middle ground. And I didn't feel like the movie was offering anything special because this is well-worn territory, right? Like, this is very similar to the First Omen, which came out the same year. This is about religious oppression and oppression of women and, immaculate pregnancy and all of that. But I didn't feel this was bringing very much to the table. There's good aspects in here, but there were better movies about this very similar themes that came out this year that we will get to. Ren, no, I didn't because I can't. It comes out on Christmas. I am not able to watch Nosferatu yet, and I want to so badly, and I'm very angry it comes out at that time. Sorry, I'm late. Alien Romulus should be in the C. The fan service and the use of dead actors really pissed me off. It pissed me off too, man. Yeah, it's a B- for me. It didn't kill the movie entirely because I really did like the first 2/3 of it. But yeah, I so agree with you. The fan service is horrible. Anyway, that's Immaculate. Didn't hate the film. I never got bored. You certainly can't because it's going at Mach speed. But it's not particularly special either. Substance. Hello, S. Here you go. Yeah, Substance is at S. What can I say? This is, spoiler, this is my favorite horror movie of the year so far. If you can call it horror, it's kind of a Cronenberg type horror, very much body horror, not trying to frighten you. It is intensely grotesque. I was not expecting to almost feel nauseous when I was watching aspects of this movie. There are some similarities to other films you could spot. You could call this, you could say this is similar to Requiem for a Dream, to The Fly, to the movie Raw, to other films that commentate on the entertainment industry and women's bodies. So, but by taking all these elements and also just bringing in this very interesting and dark main concept, the Substance managed to create something, birth something original out of all of it. I don't think there's a movie really like The Substance in its entirety. The whole concept, which I can't get into, but the whole everything, all the steps, the injections, the fluids, how the process works, the eyeballs, the intense sequence of lights, all of that is amazing to me. When I was watching it, my eyes were unblinkingly staring at the screen and without words thinking, this is awesome. This is awesome. I haven't seen anything like this. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And I love that feeling when I watch a film. I have people accuse me in the comments saying things like, well, it doesn't sound like you like movies. I love movies. I love the feeling that I get when I'm watching something and it's working. And The Substance works. The performance is there. I have nothing but admiration for Demi Moore for putting on, like taking on this kind of project. This asks a lot from her emotionally and physically. So, hats off to her. She's fantastic. This is probably the best acting I've seen from Dennis Quaid in that it's totally over the top, but it fits this role perfectly. I've never seen him do something like this, and it's pitch perfect pairing for me. So I'm just reading the comments real quick. Def S, so well done. Yeah, and here's the thing. Everyone's talking about this movie because it's so crazy. It's gross. And all of that is true. But I think it's also worth saying that this is just a very well put together film. The cinematography is gorgeous. It's very creative with some of its framing and some of the images you see, like, a ripped piece of poster that flutters down and kind of perfectly frames the woman's face. There's a sequence in a hallway where a girl in pink is being dragged by a woman in yellow, and the hallway is purple, and it's just such a lush combination of colors, and it's such smooth camera movements. I mean, it's got all these it has all these technical achievements, and it's such Oscar level, Cannes Film Festival level filmmaking here, and it's in service of something this bonkers, this disgusting. And I don't think I've ever seen a movie this wild and grotesque paired with filmmaking that's this confident and imaginative. It's kind of wonderful, honestly. And, it doesn't have, when we watch movies that are gross and have body horror, they don't have to be schlock. Watch the original Fly, watch The Thing. These are excellent movies, and the schlock and the excellence, let's call it, are interlinked. I could talk about this movie forever, but it's the kind of movie that just makes me so happy because it shows that basically any aspect, like any genre, any subgenre can be made with so much skill, from the music cues, the timing of some of these music cues, the cinematography, the performances, the excellent makeup effects. I mean, they really go all in with some of this, and it just escalates at such a perfect pace. For a long movie, I never felt bored, and I never felt like it was rushing either. Yes, the ending is a bit much, for sure, and I feel like some of the commentary was very on the nose and even a bit repetitive at points, but these are fairly minor complaints. I think this is just such a great film that benefits from how unbridled it is. Yeah. Revenge. Yeah, I haven't seen Revenge. I know, it's been on my list. Yeah. I think Substance is available on Amazon Prime, though. If not, for free, maybe to buy or rent. I remember that when critics said that there were a lot of people throwing up or more disgusting films, the comments helped sell the movie. That's the thing. And I've mentioned this before. Yeah, anytime I hear people talk about, oh, they were throwing up during the movie or passing out during the movie, I tend to call bullshit. I think that's just a kind of sleazy marketing move because apparently people can't hold their lunch because they've said this about so many films. But the substance is one that wouldn't really surprise me because of the kind of close-ups to these injections and fluids. It is unnerving. Okay. Next up, In a Violent Nature. I have to leave it at C. For me, In a Violent Nature is a really interesting concept that conceptually didn't work. Yes, this is basically, it's a slasher movie in the vein of Jason, but from the killer's perspective. And you think, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then you realize, oh, well, yeah, that is what Jason would do for most of the movie. He's just trudging along through the woods, and then boom, like really grotesque, interesting, entertaining gore, and then he's just walking. Bad actors over here, kill them, walking. So it's just, yeah, that is accurate. The movie does a very accurate job describing what someone like Jason is doing through these movies. But, okay. Like, it's one of those things where you're hindered by your own idea. Because if you deviate from that idea you have, then you're kind of betraying it. But if you go all in, which this movie does, you're going to bore your audience because, like, what, 70% of this is a guy walking in the woods, and I could do that myself. Saying that, it's a film I hope creates maybe some kind of subgenre where we start, making horror films, but from the villain's perspective. I don't think it works for a slasher, especially this specific kind of slasher. But it's really funny because in the original video I did of this, in my original video, I talked about how I wanted this concept to be taken to other horror genres, like a ghost film. Like, oh, it'd be so cool if someone made a haunted house movie, but from the perception of a ghost. And then, like 2 weeks later, I found out that Steven Soderbergh made a movie called Presence, where it's a house that's being haunted and everything is from this presence point of view. And that sounds awesome. So if there's anything truly great about this movie, other than the gore, which is wow, the gore is really something in this film. Very over the top and creatively put together. But if there's anything truly great about this film other than the visceral gore, it's the fact that it might encourage other horror directors to rethink these subgenres and try to show them from the villain's perspective. I just don't think it works in the Friday the 13th type slasher, but I would love to see it in other types. The movie's well shot. I like the mask of the killer. Like I said, the gore is very effective, but it's boring. What can I say? I don't think this works on a conceptual level, but I applaud the fact that they, even tried this at all. So I'm just going to leave it at C. Dap, that's funny. And it was better each time I rewatched. They do need to do more with it, though. The overall feeling of the movie is very scary in a unique way. Yeah, I don't know if I can watch it again, though, because I feel like I'll get even more kind of antsy. But I've been wrong about that before, because I've rewatched slower movies before and did enjoy them again. I liked Luz more on a second watch. I liked Blade Runner 2049 more on the second watch. Like I said, they ran with the concept. I admire more than like. Yeah, the trailer for Presence looks very cool. I'm very excited for that. And, oh yes, Siva, we'll get to First Omen. Yeah, there were some brilliant moments, I'm not gonna lie. There's a shot towards the beginning I thought was brilliant. All right, Infested. This is a French movie about spiders. I gotta put it in the didn't watch category. It is very high on my watch list. I just couldn't watch it in time for this video. It was pretty much that or Heretic, and I decided to go with Heretic. And I liked Heretic except for that, you know, boop at the end. But I will watch this because I did watch Sting, and Sting. Oh God, I'm torn. I'm torn again. There's so many here that are just like 6s. Did I like? Is it as good as Cuckoo or Alien Romulus? Oh boy, am I delaying this? I didn't like plan this at all, really. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at C, but again, this is another one that could go up to B. The thing with Sting is, when Sting is actually doing its spider stuff, I think it works. There's much more practical effects than I expected. I thought movies are kind of giving up on this, but the practical effects are great. They're disgusting, they're gooey, they're violent. I mean, every single scene where we see a dead body or when the spider's like running around, it's very effective. And yeah, it's fun. The movie is going for kind of a fun creature feature thing to a certain extent, but there are some of the deaths and some of the kind of almost crime scene elements, like some of the bodies and special effects are kind of like shocking and kind of almost nauseating to look at. So I think it works in that aspect. My problem is Sting didn't really know whether to just give up on character work or kind of go all in and make us care about the characters. So just this kind of halfway thing. So I didn't really care about anyone except for maybe the young girl. She also happened to be probably the best performer in the film. So tonally, I think this movie isn't quite sure what it's going for. I would have liked it to be either a bit more serious or a bit more goofy, and I had more of kind of a seesaw thing going on. But similar to something like Abigail, you put this on the TV, you invite some people over, I think you'll have a great time. A C is not a horrible rating for me. Some people think when I put C for a film, it means I punted their dog off a bridge. That's not it. I just think it's okay. I think it's meh. You know, it was meh for me, but it might completely work for you. And I think as a creature feature, Sting is tonally inconsistent and had some misdirected attention. But when it's a spider creature feature with some very effective special effects, I think it's a worthwhile watch. Trap, D. God damn it, this movie. So, I almost want to put C, but that third act is atrocious. The thing with Trap, and again, previous video, I talked about this in more detail, but what do you want me to say? Trap is so stupid and falls apart if you give it any thought whatsoever. It's contrived to the max. The character isn't just... I never felt like the character was kind of naturally getting to these locations in the script. The script was twisting reality and humanity in such a way to get him from plot point to plot point. Characters do not act like real people. They do not talk like real people. And everything is so damn easy for this protagonist that after a point, you realize that the movie is just jerking your chain. It's so easy that you end up not caring. All the tension is gone. I mean, there's a video by the channel Pitch Meeting that outlines it perfectly, but there's just so many baffling lapses in logic here. Why characters suddenly become buddies with him after talking for like 3 seconds and spilling all this, concealed information out. Doesn't make sense. The entire concept is ludicrous, staging an entire concert to catch one guy and you don't even know what he looks like. I mean, from the larger aspects to the smaller ones, nothing makes sense. Saying that, it is still kind of fun in that first act to watch him, to try to see where his mind is going and seeing him try to get out of this situation. My favorite moment in the film is when he makes a deep fryer explode, just because, again, you're watching, it's like an evil MacGyver. What tools and manipulations can he utilize to get one step ahead of everyone else. You know, it's watching a rat in a maze. Kid Cudi's in the movie? I don't even remember that. No, Trappa's it's Josh Hartnett. Yeah, I mean, the dialogue is bad. The acting is horrible, and I don't understand this weird, uncanny acting style that M. Night is pulling out of a lot of his actors. I don't think it suits the films that they're in. It's not like some Wes Anderson thing where the dryness of the characters is kind of quirky. It's just awkward here. They don't speak like human beings, and you can even see that in the trailer. I don't get it. Yeah, Josh Hartnett's the best actor in the film, but it's still very awkward watching him perform, especially when his character's trying to act natural. I don't know what dirt M. Night has on everyone else. Maybe he took some photos at the P. Diddy party. Who knows? But he's getting all these movies and getting so much promotion, and a lot of these movies are bad, and this one's bad too. It is fun for a while, just to watch someone try to escape a complicated situation, but it's stupid in every regard. It's not shot well. It's performed badly. And I blame almost all of this on M. Night. So, what do you want me to say? He hasn't been good since Split. So, should we have expected anything better? Hey, it beats Old, though. It's better than Old. You know, I didn't want to punch myself in the dick when it was over. So, there you go. Trap. It's bad. It's a trap! Getty Squire. Right? It feels like Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and maybe Signs were made by a different person. You know? And then M. Night got unleashed. Or maybe his deal with the devil fell through. I don't know. But these are just bad films, and I don't understand the hard-on people have for M. Night and give him every excuse under the sun. I don't understand his fan base. It's not as baffling a fan base as Zack Snyder fans, but it's still very strange to me. It's not like the guy doesn't have talent. It's not like his films don't have their moments, but they're just bad, lack logic, and are awkward to watch. So it's a D for me. I didn't hate it. I liked aspects of it, but I can't ignore just how blindingly stupid it is. Oy. Inheritance. The Inheritance. Nothing really to say about this one other than that, similar to Tarot, this is a checklist of cliches. The only thing is the dialogue is slightly less horrible, so it's getting D. Nothing really more to say about this film. Bad characters, bad cliches, bad jump scares. You can sit through it, it won't hurt you, but there's no reason to recommend it. Maybe because there's a plot twist in this fan base. Belgian Dan. I love it. I love that. The whole thing's a twist. He's actually a great director. He's going to pull out like this amazing movie toward the end of his career, and he's gonna be like, it was all a twist. He's going to make like a Godfather level movie, and everyone's going to be shocked. What a twist. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, Zack Snyder films, his best film is probably Dawn of the Dead remake. I would say that was probably his best. 300's fine. I mean, it's stupid, but it's fun. But, I mean, Justice League is horrible. Sucker Punch is so stupid. And, oh god, what was the other one? I'm missing something. There's a really bad one. Oh, and those Star Wars movies, or the not Star Wars films. I didn't even bother watching those. Who, buddy? Here we go. Late Night with the Devil. So a lot of people ask me why Late Night with the Devil wasn't on the list. And it's because we're getting to that confusing aspect again where is it 2023 or 2024? It's technically 2023, but come on, all of us saw it this year. So I'll just count it and then give it a B. I don't think the story really lent it too many favors. It did at first, but there's something unsure about the story. It had a very long introduction, which I didn't mind because it was really setting up the stress of this main character. I think the lead actor did a great job. I think the girl was amazing, especially when they first bring her on stage and there's clearly something wrong with her, but it's kind of in the background, and that's just perfect suspense building for me. However, the skeptic, the hypnotist character, very annoying. I know he's supposed to be grating and disagreeable, but he just has too much screen time. It's cutting into the fear factor and the intensity when we just have this shouty, dick hogging so much of the camera. That whole hypnosis sequence, I guess it was an excuse to dive into some body horror, but it was pretty unnecessary when you think about it. And again, it just took up so much of the movie's runtime. It got some controversy for using AI for some of those, those what do you call them? Those cutaways. So stupid. Those cutaways look bad as well. I don't know why the film used that, and I'm trying not to hold too much against the film for that, but it was just a stupid decision. But yeah, and also it has a pretty lackluster ending. So again, it's an unsure movie. It's a kind of a bumpy script because I felt like they weren't focusing enough on the tension they were building, but it kept getting distracted. Like it wasn't fully confident in just going all in with its main concept. However, I think the production design is awesome. I love the visual effects on it to give it that 70s late night vibe. I think they did wonderful work both with sound and cinematography. The lead performance, quite a few of their performances are excellent. So I'm going to leave it at B. I think this could have been an A movie easily. That script just needed some tightening up. Pacing issues for sure. But it's there. Like there's a gold nugget in this movie. They just need to clean off some of the grime. Latency. This is bad. It's going for more of a sci-fi horror, and it's so frustrating because I think there's room for a VR tech horror film. It's there. Either having the full thing in VR or having the movie deal with VR in some aspect, or just a modern tech horror film that's not like unfriended. I think it's the concept is there. There's that beautiful stage for someone to stand on, and unless I'm missing something, I don't think any movie has really quite done it yet. Latency kind of tried, but they just didn't do a very good job. Poor dialogue, unconvincing acting, and it just, instead of getting more kind of scary or intense, it just kind of gets silly. You lose interest fairly quickly because the characters don't seem like real people, and like I mentioned, the dialogue and the performances very much hinder that. I don't see people talk enough about acting in horror, and I think acting is one of the most key aspects to horror films, because if they don't look scared, why am I scared? That's what I always say, and I stand by it. Latency's poor performances do so much damage to it, and there's just no recovery. But there's room. Where's Starve Acre? Oh, I knew I forgot something. I haven't seen Starve Acre yet, but I will. I heard it was a weird one, but that's okay. I hate this adaptation of Watchmen. Getty, I saw some scenes of Zack Snyder's Watchmen, and it looked like shit. All the slow-mo looked like hell. Why is he so obsessed with his slow-mo machine? You'll never find me. Look, I didn't say I put every single horror movie here. I just put some that I saw and then a couple that I didn't see and wanted to notate. I'm not going to put 100 movies here. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, totally. The main actor is one of those, hey, it's that guy actor. Yeah, those are always fun. Kevin Durant, same thing. Yeah, I know, but, whoops. I want that, though. Someone out there, please, make a scary VR horror film. Someone's got to do it. Longlegs, kind of torn between A and B, but I'm going to leave it at B. I almost want to give it A because there's just so much, there's so much creativity on display here. Just from its moodiness, its sound design, its visual representations of someone's thought process or hauntings. Sometimes I worry that horror movies are becoming too cliche and lacking ideas, but I know everyone's probably seeing this right now and thinking, oh my god, there's a lot of C's here. He must hate horror, or he must think this is a shit year. But the thing is, even with some of these C movies, there's some creative ideas. I think this was a very ambitious year for horror in many respects. So Longlegs, I part of me wants to give it an A because I think some aspects were just brilliantly done. Like I said, anything regarding its sound design, its music, and quite a bit of its cinematography, I think was perfect for generating not just a tone of just being scary, because Longlegs isn't just the normal scary, it's this twisted, sick, I don't know what's happening kind of vagueness to it. And I love that. I love when a horror movie can frighten me in a way I haven't been frightened before. And with Longlegs, it was just being so unsteady, like I never had my footing. And Longlegs does that brilliantly with its just how visceral its crime scenes are, with the strangeness of the villain, the strangeness of the different tactics of the villain, the marketing behind this movie that doesn't affect its rating, but I just have to add that. So there's so much ingenuity going on with Longlegs. The problem is, well, there's a few problems. First off, the plot completely, like, the plot rushes through the finale to almost an embarrassing degree. I mean, we get the exposition machine in the third act. I didn't like the scene where they started talking to some woman in that very red shaded room. I found that very boring and melodramatic at the same time. And it does not land well, this film. It very much just kind of you know, like it just kind of it tries to catch up with so much it introduced because it has so many balls in the air, and it didn't know how to wrap itself up in a way that was satisfying or clean. So it's just this sort of exposition mess that they dump at the finale, and it's not scary. And also hurting things, and I don't know if people agree with this, but I felt like some of the acting was kind of weak. Sometimes Nicolas Cage is frightening because he's so intense. Other times it's more comical, which again might be something they're going for, you know, trying to get some kind of middle ground between terrifying and bizarre. So I might, you know, give him some leeway on that. The lead actress, I understand she's playing a loner, but I still felt like she was phoning in that performance. I wish she had just given just a little bit more emotion into that character. It was just lukewarm from her from start to finish. And then the black cop, he did a good job, but towards the end, I don't think he was capturing the emotion that the character was supposed to have. So, acting a little, you know, acting not quite there. The finale really dropped the ball. And if the finale had wrapped this up, this could have been an A or maybe even an S. I mean, I was adoring this film and the strange things it made me feel. And just for showing me things I'd never seen before. These kind of opening credits are incredible just because I've never experienced anything like that. And it perfectly primed me for the kind of maelstrom I was heading into. That picture word association game. And even when certain things are just said in dialogue, they can be disturbing because we're in that level of a crime scene where, oh no, it's not like someone was just kind of just murdered. No, people are not murdered in this movie. They are eviscerated. They are just ripped to shreds. They're pounded into a pulp. And Longlegs does a great job, not only being an almost psychedelic horror film, but for leaning into how the true darkness of human nature and violence. So all these positives, I almost want to give it an A, but I'm just gonna leave it at B for now. Depp, I'm not dick writing my comments. I gave Longlegs a 7 out of 10, which is like B-A borderline, you know, so it's there. A solid, Under Paris, a solid F. Oh, we'll get to Under Paris. Nicolas Cage looks like an old lesbian. Have you seen Arcadian? It's not that great, but the monster design is fantastic, and Nick Cage is pretty good in it. I have not. I will add that to the watch list. Give me 1 second. Then we're gonna get into Under Paris, and then we might play the wheel game if people are here. Someone in chat, explain the wheel game. I think it's very interactive, and I think people will like it. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, for all the people who are joining, who have been here before or joined for the first time, this shot's for you. You guys are great. If I can just sell my channel here real quick. You're on my YouTube channel right now. Links to things like my Letterboxd, my Patreon, they're all there. Patreon's got some pretty fun rewards. You get to actually take more part in the videos I do, and you get some like behind the scenes and advice and stuff on the Patreon page. So that's fun. And then, yeah, check out my Letterboxd as well. I also have a Discord. All those links are up there. And I got some more videos coming out before the end of the year. And I'm going to do my top 10 of 2024 video early January. I'm watching a ton of movies to prepare for it. So my video is actually going to be pretty well researched. Not just me watching Wicked, Deadpool, Wolverine, and like 2 other movies and doing the video. No. I'm watching like 100 films. So it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a top 10. It's going to be very hard for me to narrow down. And I want it to be a good one. No, the movie game, Depp. The movie game. We're going to play a game. I'm getting off the treadmill. No, the wheel. Yeah. Getty, you pretty much nailed it there. Oh, this is for all you. Okay. Looks like a cool shirt. This is a cool shirt. Yeah, I like it a lot. I forget where I got it. Thank you. But anyway, before I get into Under Paris, Wheel Game is basically once a month I review 5 movies based on audience suggestions. I get no choice in the matter whatsoever. The only thing is Patreon members get an easier time of getting their slot. But everyone recommends a movie, any genre. It could be terrible, it could be amazing, but it's a movie that you want to see a movie critic talk about. So we throw them all on the wheel, we spin it 5 times, and then those 5 movies I have to do a video about, and I have to review them. So I've done 1, I'm working on another one, but we need 5 for January. So maybe we can do that after this. Do you have movie list somewhere? I can't read titles from pics. Yeah, it's a little small, isn't it? Maybe I could kind of... Maybe I do that. It's kind of blocking, you know? That's the problem. But I will read them all off at the end. I will. If someone wants to... This is going to be a lot to ask. But if anyone wants to write out all the movies in this list, and I can pin the comment, that could work. Also, why do you not have ad block? Good question. I do, but it's not working on this website for some reason. Okay. Here we go. Tarot. God damn it. All right. Under Paris. I'm going to give Under Paris a D. This is a very stupid movie, and I don't understand why we can't make shark movies work. There's Jaws is number 1, and then there's, maybe 47 Meters Down. The Reef is pretty good, and maybe The Shallows, and that's it. And then there's just garbage everywhere else. So, Under Paris, they kind of try to do something new. The ending was very spectacular, if not, again, very stupid, but they tried to do something new. But it's just dumb. I think a big problem with this film is that I just hated the main character. She sets herself as very unlikable very early on. She is short-sighted. She is stupid. She potentially gets people murdered. And from that point on, I just couldn't like her. And I also don't think she gave a very good performance. All the characters are flat. And so, again, we're talking about tone a lot with this movie. Under Paris can't really decide whether it wants to be pure schlock, like Sharknado, or an actually more dramatic shark movie like The Reef or Jaws. And not only is it neither one, it's also just not put together very well. The special effects are terrible. It's not exciting. The deaths mean nothing. So it doesn't have the spectacle of something like, let's say, Sharknado, which I hate more than this movie. But it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that midnight showing wackiness. But it's not nearly as good as something like 47 Meters Down or Jaws, because it doesn't have the characters or the writing or the scene progression, like none of it. All the shark attacks are stupid. They're contrived as in the ways they get people into that environment. It's just dumb, and it just hurts the Netflix reputation that their original movies are often shit. And I don't know, I feel like half the time I just have to watch other YouTubers to get their thoughts on whether it's worth to watch that Netflix movie, because you get a shitty one like Under Paris or Bird Box, and then you get a good one like Incantation or The Stranger. It's just, oh man, it's just such a mixed bag. But Under Paris, what can I say? It's dumb, and it's not really dumb fun. So it's getting a D. Mads, or Mods, I'm giving a B as well. So for those who don't know, this is a French film about, let's just call it an outbreak, and it's all one take. Or let's say it's all one shot. And not tricked to look like one shot, like 1917 or Birdman. Legit, start to finish, one shot. And you can tell because there's like actually like a few hiccups here and there. It feels raw. It feels rough around the edges. And I actually like that about the film, because it's like when you watch a live performance and someone doesn't quite hit a note, but it's nice because you realize that's proof that this is real. This is really happening. There's room for mistakes, and that, you know, we're all in this together. And that's what Mods feels like. It's this rough and ragged movie that's all one shot, and it's ambitious as hell. You would think a one-take shot would kind of be more conservative with action and with locations, but there's so much transportation in this film. Bicycles, motorcycles, cars, running, so many locations, so much going on in this film. And I wouldn't have thought that a one-shot film would try to pull something like that off. So there's this constant energy from start to finish. And it's so fun because I didn't know this was a one-shot film. So there's this early sequence where a guy is high and he's getting to his car to drive away. That's the substance, by the way, Jamie. There's a scene, where he gets in the car, he's high, he's about to drive away. And first of all, the actor does a terrific job of portraying someone who's kind of hyper and hyped up and you know, coked up. And it keeps going, and then this woman gets into his car, and it causes this issue because they can't communicate. And I'm watching, I'm thinking, oh my god, has the camera cut yet? And then I realized it still wasn't cutting. It's still going. And so you could say this, not only was that exciting to see and to realize, but the film felt like one long scene, just one escalating catastrophe happening. And while the film does switch to different characters, which might be strange for some, I think that's effective in, you know, not only keeping that energy going, but to show the scale of this disaster that's happening. It's not perfect. There's a sequence in an elevator toward the end that goes on a bit long, and there's a scene on the motorcycle that's actually really stupid. I don't know why she didn't just get off the damn thing. So, rough around the edges, like I mentioned, but so fun, so impressive from a technical standpoint. The amount of coordinating this took is incredible. So, all I can do is just recommend it. This is such a high-energy blast to watch, and its flaws, in a weird way, almost, you know, make it kind of endearing, because you know they were shooting so high. Oh, such fun. You know, Taro's too high up. It's at F. Wait, there's nothing below F. Q? What do I put there? Yes, it's like Victoria. Yes. But a very different film from Victoria. Victoria is more crime action. This is more horror. Oh, it's hot as hell in here. So, match is great. Besides the motorcycle scene. Yeah, motorcycle scene was bad. What hiccups? Well, hiccups in terms of, like, the lighting. There was a lot of lens flare in certain sequences. Some people weren't quite hitting their marks. Sometimes the acting, I felt like they're struggling a little bit to keep that emotion going. So just hiccups. But they didn't really detract from the film that much because, again, I, at this point, understood that they were doing a one-shot, and it made the film feel almost more alive in that way. No, Deep Blue Sea is a guilty pleasure, yeah. Loves you with all my heart and part of my gizzard. Okay. 1 second, coffee up here. All right, let's try to make these quicker. MaXXXine, C, the biggest disappointment of horror in 2024. You know, why is it we have to do some kind of study as to why the third in the trilogy is almost always the worst and certainly never the best. I'm struggling. I've asked this question before. Is there ever a third in the trilogy that's the best? And I'm very much struggling. I mean, Madagascar, I guess, but those first two movies were just terrible. Lord of the Rings, maybe, although I wouldn't agree. So it's hard, right? But MaXXXine was especially a disappointment because the X and Pearl were such surprises, and you're rooting for this one. You think, oh my god, a great horror trilogy. What fun to have this such a entertaining mix of nostalgia and tapping into all these different horror genres, and this killer lead performances from Mia Goth, who's like the Scream Queen now, and for good reason. So then you get this, and the opening scene is great. Mia Goth is killing it. But then it suffers from, again, the same issues we have with many of the thirds in the trilogy, which is it's just trying too much. It's trying to be a mystery. It's trying to be a slasher. It's trying to be a cult film. It's trying to be a nostalgia trip. It's trying to be a commentary on an actress in LA. It's trying to be all these different things, and it just couldn't. Because it lacked focus, it couldn't focus on any of these specific things, and so the end result is underwhelming. It couldn't adequately give attention to any one aspect, and so the entire movie suffered as a result. It's paper thin. There's no one aspect that's great. We just get a bunch of good to mid to bad in this movie. Yeah, Mia Goth is great, but the movie doesn't give her enough to do. The gore is entertaining, but there's just not enough of it. The ending is horrible, but people try to excuse it by saying, "Oh, well, it's a reference to giallo films." Well, good for you. Okay, you referenced something and you made something shitty. That's not an excuse. It's just bad, and it doesn't reflect the rest of the film at all. You can't just pull another director out of your ass and make a shit scene and then go, well, it was a reference, therefore it's profound. It's not profound. It's stupid. The scene is bad, and it's a shitty ending. Like, what do you want from us? Also, stop writing Joe over and over, please. Yeah. There are good elements in this film, but lack of focus, lack of exploration really did this movie a disservice. I also think this is a pretty popular opinion that this is the worst of the trilogy, because if you're watching this and you're starting to feel bored, you're checking your phone, you feel unsatisfied in this kind of trilogy, the Ty West MaXXXine trilogy, that's a huge fucking problem, because yeah, Pearl has some pacing issues in it. X was not as ambitious, but paced beautifully. But this one is just all over the place, and it really didn't need to. It needed to pick a fucking lane. You see what this could have been, and he was just trying too much. This failed from the script. I mean, there was no way to make a great film from the script. It just wasn't going to happen. You couldn't direct enough attention to the talent that you had, and instead you ended up with this pretty sloppy mishmash of nostalgia and undercooked horror. And that's what we got MaXXXine. And I think deep down Ty West knows. You can feel the film struggle. It's like watching an interview go off the rails. There is no Planet of the Apes trilogy, though. I mean, Planet of the Apes... There's the original Planet of the Apes, which is like 10 of them. And then there's the newer Planet of the Apes, which there are 4. There are 4 of them. You're forgetting Kingdom. That's the 4th one. Even though if it's a prequel, that it's kind of part of it. You know, I don't know if it counts as a trilogy anymore. I'm ready to get spam botted by dumbasses soon. Why? What's happening, Depp? Yeah, watch Mads. It's good. Yeah, Lika, you can't call. Sorry, I gotta cut that off at the knees. You can't call Die Hard a trilogy. You can't just pick 3. Oh, Depp, did you ban him? I hope you did. Oh, thanks, bro. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, don't worry, Depp. If you get some shit, let me know. But yeah, you can't pick a franchise that has 5 movies and then choose 3 and go, that's a trilogy. Doesn't work. Die Hard's 5 movies. 5. How many times did I check my phone? Right? Dollars trilogy. Was the 3rd the best? Also, was that a trilogy? Fistful of Dollars, few dollars more. Was Good, Bad, the Ugly part of that trilogy? I don't know. Anyway. First Omen. I am torn between A and S, and I'm going to leave it A for now, but it's very close to S. I absolutely love this film. I understand people hate it, but I think it's put together beautifully. So here's the thing. You know what I'm gonna do though? I'm gonna talk about everything I don't like about this movie first. So my only issues with this film are its actual attachments to the Omen franchise, because I didn't want to see this, because I thought an Omen prequel, really? Like, we just got an Exorcist film. It was shit. I don't want to see any fucking prequels. And I watched it, and it was incredible. The only problems this movie has is the fact that every time it has to go back and kind of attach itself to the Omen, where it's, you know, it tries to, like, the kind of sloppy wrap up at the end and referencing this and trying to tie back to this, and all the franchise shit drags this movie down. The exposition, the dialogue gets more clunky. So it's like an anchor that's hanging off this really entertaining, beautifully shot, almost psychedelic horror film. But then everything else I just think is brilliant. The lead actress does a fantastic job, especially in a certain sequence that's clearly inspired by the movie The Possession. I had someone get really mad at me because they thought that because this movie was similar to that one scene from The Possession, because this movie had one scene that was similar to Possession, therefore it was a complete ripoff. I don't agree at all, and I think the themes and presentation of these movies are entirely different, but whatever. The thing is, so she does a fantastic job, and there's a lot put on her shoulders, and she pulls it off extraordinarily. This film is so great to look at. I don't think the movie is scary. There's a couple sequences that are pretty freaky, but overall, this is not a movie that's trying to scare you. But it is a movie that's trying to unnerve you, to keep you on edge, to trip you out. And just the way things are framed, how a character looks in the morning, how characters are separated in the frame, how a character is being sort of sequestered in a room and her bed's floating off the ground. There's so many great decisions in this film to make you feel the way that you're supposed to feel, and that is good filmmaking to me. Also, the film takes full advantage of the Italian setting. The lighting is just lush and gorgeous. There's so many shots of this movie. They're just branded in my head because they're so dramatic and enticing. I've honestly, I haven't seen a horror movie that engaged me visually like this in so long. Getty Squire, please drop any questions. Go for it. I know I could spend 15 minutes easy just talking about the things I like about this movie, but shot composition, music, lead performance, those alone are the reasons to watch this. I love how long certain shots linger. It also, even though this is, I'm pretty sure, an R-rated film, it knows how to really dig under your skin and stamp something horrific on your brain with the kind of shots and the kinds of concepts they're using. Like a woman smiling maniacally, the scariest smile of the year, way scarier than anything in Smile 2. A woman smiling maniacally while she's giving birth and drugged up. That is more horrifying than anything I saw in either Smile film. God, the close-up on someone's eyeball freakishly moving around in fear, the black cloth and over someone's face and seeing their breaths underneath the fabric. I mean, I could just go on and just list all these haunting shots that are peppered throughout this movie. It is a visual audio experience of a horror film. Yes, it has its flaws. Yes, the ending is a clumsy way to tie everything back together. But the fact that this is a first movie from a director, the fact that there is so much artistry put into something that could have just been a lazy sequel, makes me want to put this at S. And you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Haters be hating, that's fine. I understand if someone just wants to watch The Omen again, watch The Omen again. Honestly, this is doing something that prequels and sequels and remakes should be doing. You take the original concept, you take some of those ideas, and you do something entirely new, and you let the director have a voice. And whether you like it or not, this movie has a voice, it has a style, and it's evident in every single scene. I'm not commanding anyone to like this film, but I am saying that this film has so much to offer other than being a prequel. And the prequel elements are actually the only things holding it back. But by the sheer fact that, the simple fact that I can't stop talking about this movie pretty much locks it in at S. Not as good as The Substance, but it's something I would encourage everyone to watch, especially if you really want something trippy and visual for your horror palette. Love this movie. Love it, love it, love it. Question for the chat. Want to watch Andrei Rublev today? Should I watch it tonight? Is 3 hours and slow. I don't know. How awake are you? You gotta be in the right mindset to watch something that long. If I'm watching something super long, probably either night or afternoon. Probably not morning, because then you're gonna start your day so late. I don't know. That's a good... I can't really answer that. Yeah, I agree, Deb. I do. That scene when she woke up and the hair around her head. Yes! The hair scene was so good. That's what I'm saying. What kind of movie has a character wake up hungover and her hair is splayed out like an octopus? It's just those little touches that show me that the director cared, that they had ideas, they were bursting with imagination and wanted to show all of us. Not just pacify us, not just throw in random jump scares we've seen 1,000 times, but actually trying to show a bit of their own ideas and give us something we haven't seen before. That's the kind of fucking horror movie that I want to see. I don't want to see repeats. I don't want to see the same shit I've been seeing for years and years. I want to see something new, even if it's part of a franchise. And The First Omen is new. Even as a prequel, the way it's shown is just as vital as what's being shown. And I think The First Omen has that in spades. Yeah, Depp, that's a fair point. Hey, BBL, how's it going? I haven't seen you on stream in a while. All right, let's make this quick. No Voltis, bad. Not very good. I'm pretty mixed on Spanish horror movies. I think some of them are fantastic, and some of them are just quite lazy and don't really know how to get those scares going. And other Spanish horror movies just aren't horror movies. I'm sorry, I don't see The Orphanage as a horror movie at all. Hi, Milkball Court. How's it going? I think the one thing, I mentioned this before, but I think the one thing about No Voltis that I do hope that whoever worked on it maybe will, you know, internalize. Sound cues are pretty. They can be very effective for your horror, and it can also be very detrimental. And No Voltis is like a picture-perfect example of how miscues and overdoing those sound effects and the song introductions and things like that can completely derail any kind of tension that you're building up. It's not a good film. It's not scary in the slightest. It's a lot of what you've seen before. And honestly, from just a audio perspective, it's very shoddily put together. Oddity, I'm leaving at B. People were very, 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 very mad at me for putting Oddity at a 6 out of 10. And a 6 is where I'm going to leave it. But I'm going to give it a B because I think it's like, it was between a 6 and a 7. Once I said 6 out of 10, I think everyone went to the comment section and then turned off the video. That was the vibe that I was getting. The thing with Oddity is there are things about this movie I genuinely like / love. Everything with the tent is great. I think the acting is solid. The mannequin is effectively creepy, and I like that there's still kind of compartments in there. There's more to discover. My problem with the movie is some of my problems I had with Caveat, which is that the logic of the characters kind of broke the immersion for me. People have tried to explain it, and those explanations are just not doing it for me. They still don't really solve the issue of characters being stupid and intrusive and no one calling them out for it. Maybe that's the American in me talking, where someone does something, asks for something ridiculous, and I go, no. And maybe not every culture is like that, but it still bothered me. I still saw it as stupidity and a contrived way to get characters into a situation. Caveat did it much worse, but it still did kind of rattle me when the movie first started. I also don't think Oddity is scary in the slightest. It is ominous. It is trying to go for that building suspense. I just don't think what they were showing, especially in the sort of payoffs, were scary at all. I don't know. I've seen they were introducing elements that felt fresh, but it was all caked in things I'd seen before. I think it's shot fine, but nothing really blew me away. There were no images in the Oddity that kind of struck me or lasted with me as much as scenes like in The Substance or First Omen or Alien Romulus even. So it's a perfectly competent slow boiler of a horror film that didn't scare me, didn't fully work for me, but I'm going to leave it at B because I think there is reason to watch it. I do think there is some promising technique on display. It's better than Caveat, so if he's making another horror film after this, maybe it'll be even better than Oddity. I encourage people to watch it. I know people consider it a masterpiece. I don't think the horror hits very well at all. But hey, it has some positives, and I'm willing to give it a B just for those. Don't Hurt Me. Quiet Place Day One. I don't really see this as a horror film, but I saw some people bring this up. Just because there's monsters in it doesn't make it a horror. I don't see Godzilla as a horror film. But I'll just mention the fact that it's a D. The most bland film maybe I saw in 2024. There is literally nothing about this thing that is exciting despite all the action that's happening. It's just bland people running through bland environments with bland music and a bland story and bland. Okay, we're done. Stop motion, I'm going to... Oh, this is so tough. Stop motion, I'm going to leave at a C, and other than MaXXXine, this was the biggest disappointment of the year for me because, God, what a concept, what an opportunity. Mixing live action and stop motion in a horror film. Holy shit, like, the possibilities are endless. And how are you going to explore that? With a boring character and a excruciatingly dull pace that barely utilizes its stop motion concept. Such a gigantic, gargantuan, earth-shatteringly tragic missed opportunity. I can't believe this wasn't better than it was. I heard someone say, well, she's boring. We see a lot of her boring stuff because the character is boring and her life is boring. Well, great job doing your job a bit too well, I guess. I don't want to see something that's boring. The whole point of a story is to establish something and then interrupt it. Interrupt that shit. I don't want to see complacency in your horror film. And if you got a film called Stop Motion, give me some more stop motion. Make it scarier. Don't give me jump scares, and don't give me such an uninvolving, God, poorly defined main character. It's, like, so much promise. So much promise, and they do not understand how pacing works in this film. And it could have been slow, but you can't be slow and uneventful. And you can't make me spend so much time with a character when there's nothing to her at all. The whole mother relationship is conventional and underwhelming, and the little girl character feels unnecessary other than a simple character for someone to speak to, and she's not interesting to watch either. I almost want to rate it lower because I'm just so frustrated with it. I have to drink water. Oh my god. You can't use introversion as an excuse. Not talking to you, Misty, but I don't like when people say, yeah, I'm not talking to you guys. I mean other people. When people say, oh, well, this character's not interesting because she's an introvert. Or in Longlegs, the actress isn't giving a good performance because the character's an introvert. No. There is so much that can be said on the facial expression without speaking. This character, it's not even like the actress is bad. There's just, like I said, there's nothing to her. There's no reason to get engaged with her motivations, anything about her dickless boyfriend, her boring relationship with her mother, the stupid girl that's around her, when all we want and all that you're supposed to be promising us by your fucking poster is a horror movie with stop motion. And you could barely give us that until towards the end. You know, it's not even a good dick tease. It's rubbing us with sandpaper. Why? How did you fuck this up? How did you fuck this up? I'm heated now. Yes, thank you, someone Getty Squire for my chat. Introverts can be so interesting if you take the time to talk about them. They are more interesting than most extroverts, in my opinion. Yes, lonely people. Oh my god. Lonely people, shy people, they can be bursting with all different kinds of thoughts or psychoses or like introverts, extroverts. Anyone can be interesting if you write them interestingly enough. And this person, extrovert or introvert, it's just a dull watch. There's no reason to side with her, sympathize with her, or engage with her. Anyway, Terrifier 3. I wanted to call this movie out because I have not watched it. The reason I have not watched it is for two reasons. Number one, I have not seen Terrifier 1 or 2, and I feel like I should probably watch them. I don't know if they're fully self-contained, but I don't really like jumping into the third in a trilogy without watching the first two. Secondly, I'm not going to lie, out of all the horror subgenres, this kind of splatter horror is probably my least favorite. I don't think this is going to be for me. It's not like I don't like gore, or I don't like silliness, I don't like fun. That's not it at all. Like, not every movie has to be Midsommar. But I don't think this is my jam. And I don't think I will be the best person to really review it, because it might be doing a good job at what it's doing, but what it's doing is something I don't enjoy. And I'm willing to admit the fact that I don't think I'll be the right person to review it. That doesn't mean I'll never watch it. It doesn't mean I'll never review it, because maybe I should just watch all three, give them a chance, and hey, open my mind up to a genre that I didn't like before. maybe these Terrifier films nail the genre so well that I'll get into it. This could be my gateway drug into splatter horror. I just didn't really get the time, and I had to watch the 2 movies before this one, at least to the rules I usually apply to myself. So, didn't watch it yet. I'm so glad that people are enjoying it. But I'm gonna just hold off a little bit for now. Yeah. Thank you, Cult Philly. The main character in First Omen was somewhat introverted. She was a little nervous. She was shy. Part of that's because she didn't speak the language. But yeah, you would certainly call her more of an introvert than an extrovert. But then she had to gain that courage, that leadership, to care for someone and try to escape a bad situation. So it's a nice arc, you know? And last up is Strange Darling, which I'm giving a B. This was a very wild, interesting movie that I honestly wasn't expecting. When I'm first watching this, I thought this was a pretty standard woman runs away from guy chase film, and that is not the case. I both love and am a little put off by the structure of this film. So for those who don't know, this kind of Strange Darling moves its plot around in a lot of different directions. Strange Darling goes from, you know, Act 2 to Act 9 to Act 1 to Act 3. It's hopping all over the place in order to give you different context to what's happening. I don't know if it's one of those things where if you actually put them all in a line, would it be as interesting, or would it be a pretty standard story? So there's always that kind of fear. But I also do think it helps act as a sort of escalation of twists. You think you have your handle on that character, but then you realize someone else is a bit more of a threat, and you start to understand how characters are acting because you're getting additional context. It's a puzzle box. And what's always so key about a puzzle box, like I always say, is if I'm lost, I have to care about what's happening, and that should be my motivation to understand it. And for the most part, I cared. I think I was more attached to the male character than the female, just because Kyle Gallner, I think you pronounce it, just such a great performance as this, such a, I don't know, he has so much pent up, not even pent up, he is providing so much aggression to the character. It's almost animalistic, and people, I've heard it said that anger is one of the easiest things to portray from an actor, but I don't really agree, because you see characters act angry or violent, and you go, okay, they're angry and violent. And then you see Kyle Gallner in this kind of movie, and you think, oh, he actually wants to kill someone. Like, I felt that. So, I think one of the big things that kept me going through this sort of chaotic plot was his performance and the kind of just the kind of mania that he was bringing to the screen. The actress does a great job as well. I think the movie is well shot. It has this almost B-movie vibe to how the shot composition is arranged and even some of the lighting, which is really interesting. It feels modern, it feels nostalgic at the same time, but the ending didn't fully work for me. It felt a little bit similar to some other films in this list where it kind of just sort of petered out at the end. But the violence is effective. The scenes in the bedroom are incredibly tense. And again, the lead actor was just making me kind of sweat when I was watching, because I felt like there was an inherent danger in the room anytime he was on screen. So for performance and style and just the sheer ambition of what they were doing with the plot, I got to give this one a B. This one had so much energy, and I can't give it an A. I didn't love the film throughout, but just the skill involved and the imagination that went into this. Yeah, I think a B is a solid one for Strange Darling, and I do understand why it was so many people's favorites for the year, because I haven't seen quite anything like it for a very long time. Hey, Omi, gotta drive some people to a comedy show, and I want to eat your pancreas to the wheel if you do that. What?
I'm sorry. What the... Am I high? What'd you just type to me? Problem with Strange Darling is whether or not it has rewatchability. I'm thinking you have to leave it for a few years. Yeah, I agree. I'm not in a rush to rewatch. Like, First Omen, I want to rewatch today. Strange Darling, I don't want to rewatch. But what I might do is, like, if there's not an edit of this, maybe edit it on my own. Like, edit it all in sequence and see if it's good. Like, that's what I want to do. I kind of want to get a copy of Strange Darling and edit it in sequence and see if the story holds up. If it's still as engaging. Less so, more so. I'm not sure. But those elements I talked about, the visual style, the way this was shot, the very convincing practical effects that are on display, the performances, all that would still be there. And it would still remain a B, at the very least. Oh, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas is a movie. Oh, okay, Depp. So that wasn't a threat. That's good to know. Cool. And so that is my updated list of horror movies I've seen or wanted to note that I have not seen yet. What did you guys think? Do you think some of these are too harsh, too high? Please let me know in the comments. Links to my Discord, Patreon, Letterboxd, all that fun stuff is there. And I got some more horror reviews and other reviews coming soon. My top 10 list of 2024 will be out in early January. Stay tuned for more fun videos. And as always, thanks for watching. And that's gonna be it for this. Do we do the wheel game? I still have 20 people watching. Ooh, do I do it? Oh, I think. Who's still here? Sound out. Overall, I do think this was a good year for horror. Honestly, there was a lot of experimentation. There was a sequel that was better, another sequel that was better, a prequel that was great, a movie that won Best Screenplay at the Cannes Film Festival. Even for the ones I didn't like as much, they're playing with ideas, with, the villain's perspective, changing the order of changing the sequence, changing the order of events. The one-shot zombie film, a 70s late night possession. So many fresh ideas, and they didn't all pull them off, in my opinion. But this trend, if we can call it, of imagination is something I want to see continue next year. I think this was a very solid year for horror. This is what I want to see. The only thing that I could say is I just want a lot of these movies just to simply be better. But we can get there. I'd rather get a kind of scattered list of experimental... I'd rather see a scattered list of experimental films than a ton of Bs that are just good but didn't really push the bar. Honestly, God, I mean that. So... One second. Sorry, got a lot of messages. Okay. So that's it for this. I'm going to stop the recording. Okay. So does anyone here familiar with the wheel game? I want to know. Maybe I shouldn't do it because I've already been live for 2 hours. Maybe I should do that as a separate stream. I don't know. We could also just play a game. We could do Jackbox or something. Let me know. Let me hold on. I'm going to Oh, hey Kyle. Yeah, I'm down. Really enjoyed the stream with the background music adds to such a nice vibe. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm just chill, you know? Us chilling, us having fun. Let me, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna do a January's party games. Okay. Boom. All right, that's your poll. Should be up there in a second. Vote. Vote away. I love the fact we had so many people join, though. It made me so happy. I think we had like 41 at one point, which is awesome. So cool. You guys are so awesome. Just a chill guy reviewing movies. You know, Robert Smith. That's what I do. You're the one who suggested Holy Mountain, I believe, for my my video that's gonna come out this month. That movie was a fucking trip. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, I'm seeing votes for the wheel are going pretty strong. By the way, for those who don't know, Jackbox games are like games. Think like Cards Against Humanity, like Fibbage, Quiplash, stuff like that. I own every single Jackbox game. I think I do. And you don't even need to download nothing or log into nothing. You just play on your phone with a browser. Super simple. Oh, you chose Saint Maud. Okay. Very cool. Saint Maud's good. I liked Saint Maud more on the second watch. When I first watched it, I was like, maybe 6. But on a rewatch, spoiler, I guess, I gave it a 7. I quite liked it. I kind of understood more what it was going for. I understood where it was headed. The fact that it wasn't so much about events, it was about vibes. It was about the character being misled by external forces. About what, how faith can be corrupted. I got more of that on the second watch. And I think the movie pulled that off well. And also, no spoiler. Saint Maud, best jump scare ever, maybe? Possibly? You will see, Alika. You will see. Alright, looks like Wheel's looking strong. Make sure to vote, guys. Can you upload your top 10 January 10th? I get married that day, so I can watch on the altar. You're gonna watch my YouTube video on the altar, like on your phone? Like, hold on. He hasn't listened. He's on his honorable mentions. Real quick. I gotta wait for number 1. Hold on, babe. Hold on. Oh, to be able to be, like, popular enough to ruin a wedding. That's YouTuber goals. Hey, I just hit 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, I ruined a wedding. Alright, there's, we got 8 votes. It's looking good, though. It's looking like the spin wheel. Most likely, though, it'll be on before January 10th. Late December, early Jan is when, you know, those videos tend to do really well. At least that's my guess. I feel like late Jan, maybe not as much. Everyone's talking about Oscars at that point, and I kind of want to get that video out before Oscar talk. So, yeah, probably first thing January, probably like January 4th or something, it'll come out. Alright, sounds like wheel game. So, rules are pretty simple. All you need to do is think of a movie you would love to see me review. What's the movie? It can be a great movie, it can be terrible, but it's something you want to see someone talk about, like in detail. You know? Maybe something people neglect. Maybe it's something old that holds up, old that doesn't hold up. A new film you feel like wasn't talked about enough. Maybe a new film that you think is actually shit, and you think I'll think it's shit too. Or maybe you just anything like that. Oh God, if they not there's, you know, honestly, like, I thought this was a weak year for movies in general, not horror necessarily, but like, you know, kind of movies they would nominate. But I've been catching up, and there's been some really good ones. I just saw Queer. Queer's excellent. Substance is really good. Sing Sing was heartwarming. And Challengers is just badass. Challengers is fantastic. All right, I don't know if Misty's still here. Oh, she ran. Oh, she had to run off. Oh, damn. Okay, but what's it? I Want to Eat Your Pancreas? What the fuck is this title? I actually heard of this, I think. All right, and oh, you know what? Give me a second. There we are. So this is where we're going to put the finalists. Okay. Dune Part 2 should be nominated for Best Picture. Favorite movie of the year so far. Dune 2, in my opinion, was better than Dune 1. Mike, is that your pick? What? Aramentari? Okay. Also, Alika, because you're a patron and just to tidy this all up, I'm giving you an automatic slot before midnight. Okay, that's one. So everyone else is fighting for 4 slots. The perks of Patreon. Combat Shock. Don't let the cover fool you. It's the most depressing movie ever made. Yeah, you got it, Lika. Okay, Combat Shock. BBL. I choose Angst. Yeah, I'm a sick fuck. Oh, God. I saw Angst not too long ago. Are you sure you want me to review Angst? I might not like it as much as you. But I'll put it. No one gets out alive. I'm assuming that's the movie you're recommending and not just a threat against the stream. Hey, cowboy. I have a 80-pound sheepdog next to me. Let's see. Who am I missing? Yes, the movie. I figured. I have 2, but I'll choose The Lodge. What was the other one, Kyle? Between the 2. Hey, buddy. Let's see if I can get him on camera. Up. Hey. I think my microphone's kind of blocking them. Come here. Come closer. Giant animal. Okay. Okay. Wait, come this way. Easier. Here. There we go. Come on. Yeah. This dog is so fucking big. Hey, buddy. Look. Yeah, that's Cowboy. I've heard of Angst. It's as hard to watch as people say. Me personally, I didn't find it that hard to watch. But it is, like, it is a bit upsetting. I mean, it's a few moments for sure. Like, I think it's not the Serbian film, and I think Martyrs hits a lot harder, but it's just depraved. It's just the main character is so depraved, so inhumane. Kyle says It Comes at Night. Nice. Oh, I would love to rewatch that one. Kyle, not to make you jealous, I saw It Comes at Night in theaters by myself. No one else bought a ticket because it was in like the afternoon, and the movie got such bad word of mouth because of the bad marketing. So I was literally the only person in the whole theater. It was such a good experience. Can I change it? Of course you can change it. I haven't spun yet. So white as Mark Zuckerberg on a sunny day. Robert Smith says sleep. 2023. Oh, I have not seen this. Robert Smith. Okay. I'll give you guys like 2 minutes, and then we'll start spinning. Do you mean people in the U.S. make too much noise in theater? Fuck yeah, they do. We do, honestly. It's really annoying. I mean, there's a whole controversy now where people are singing while watching the movie Wicked in theaters. It's not a sing-along event. It's like a normal movie, and people are fucking singing. Shut your face and watch the film. God almighty. El secreto de sus... Oh, the secret of your eyes? Is that the, No, I'm thinking of something else. I thought that was the Spanish version of Vanilla Sky, but that's Open Your Eyes. Secret of Your Eyes I've heard of. Hold on, my dog is all over me right now. Cool. Okay. Yeah. I'm so sorry about this, everybody. At some point, my dog's gonna get so popular with, my audience that it would just be him streaming instead of me. For those who are watching, just gonna plug this in one more time. If you're not signed up to the Patreon yet, give it a look. Patreon link is in my YouTube channel, and just check out to see if you think it's worth $5 a month. If you think it's not worth $5 a month, honestly, let me know. Like, tell me in the Discord or my channel. Like, say, hey, I don't know, I would like to have this benefit or something. Maybe I make a second tier. I don't know, but it's a worthwhile discussion to have. So, but at the very least, like, swing by, take a look. I am being attacked for sure. Okay, so this is Getty Squire. Oh, it's Argentinian. Okay, I'm sorry. Why did I think it was Spanish? No, Cujo. The Cujo movie's not bad. Heard something weird in the background. Okay. Are we all good? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Too bad Missy's not here. Although this is not really fair because I kind of rolled this out like last minute. We'll see. Oh, god damn it. Thanks, Getty. Alright, are we all good? I'm gonna give everyone like 60 seconds, and then I'm gonna start spinning. Let me know. Also, last shot of the day for you guys. You guys are the best. Yeah. That's the yeah. Alright, everyone's gonna fight for 3 spots. And there are 7 movies, so you guys actually have pretty decent odds. Alright, is everyone ready? Last chance. Last chance, type now, forever hold your peace. Looks like all the main players threw in something. I'm gonna ask for a backup though, just in case. Just in case Missy doesn't have a recommendation, I'll choose another one just in case for that to replace it. But I have a feeling Missy and her kids have something. True story, I was watching Blink twice and someone nearby in the theater answered their phone in the theater and tried to tell the other person on the phone that they were watching the movie. So fucking rude. Honestly, God, I do not understand. Alika, hope you get some good movies. Well, thank you for swinging by. I really do appreciate it. And I'm going to have to end the stream after this because the dog is going ballistic. Okay. No, you cannot have whiskey. All right. I'm going to start spinning. Ready? Strap in. Oh, you know what's really funny is, What's his name's not here? Jamie. I'll add it because I know he would. Just for fun. But let's just all hope it doesn't land on it. All right. Ready? Actually, that's not fair. He's not here. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'll fill it. We'll do it. We'll do it every month. Fuck it, right? It's a thing. It's a thing now. God, please don't land on Fred. Here we go. No, no, don't you dare. Okay. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas by Depp Strider. All right. That's one. Nice job, Depp. Remove that. All right. 1-7 chance. Here we go. You land on Fred, I swear to God. No! 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 Why? Why did I put it? No. No, wait. It didn't happen. I have witnesses, right? We never had it. Look, it's not here. It's not here, guys. It's not here. It was never here. No, there's no evidence. No, there's no evidence. It didn't happen. I'll edit it out of the stream video. You guys saw it, right? Right? It went right past Fred and landed on this cool Argentinian movie, right? Like, that's what happened? Come back me up, guys. Back me up. Fuck my life. Why did I do that? Why did I add... Oh, God damn it. No. First tarot and now this. Oh, no. I'm dead inside. I'm dead inside. Fuck my life. Why did I do that? Why was I so generous? I'm too nice. Fuck, I almost removed it too. I almost removed it, and then Robert Smith did the respect for that. No guy can say no to that. If a guy says respect, no guy's gonna be like, nah, never mind. Cut that. I blame you, Robert. I blame you. This is your 9/11, bro. For real. Yeah, BBL, I will probably be drinking when I watch that. Okay, last movie. I'm gonna spin it twice, just in case Misty & Company doesn't have a pick for us today. Most likely they will, so don't get too excited if yours lands on it. But just as a backup, we'll roll for it. We'll spin for it. But thank you, Robert. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm gonna need all the strength I can get to get through that one. All right, so most likely this will be the last one. Good luck. Ooh, looks like that one. How do you pronounce that? Aramentari is the 5th movie for today. Getty Squire, you got close. All right, and like I said, just in case she doesn't get hers picked, all the liquid. Fuck yeah, liquid. It's gonna be a lot of liquid. All right, so as a backup, hold on. Here we go. It's almost the music's almost insulting now because it's so pleasant, and yet I just chose death. Anyway. Oh, did I delete the wrong thing? I did. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I know. I just noticed. Okay. What am I hoping for? I'm kind of hoping for, and I'm not gonna mess with it, but if you have to ask, I kind of want to talk about It Comes at Night because I do love that film. I felt like it was unappreciated, but kind of want to see Secret of Their Eyes because I've heard very good things about it. I heard the American remake is dog poo. Here we go. Potential last film, backup film. Ooh, I might get my wish. Ooh, that's so close. There it is. It Comes at Night is the backup. And that was, I'm sorry, that was, who did that? Oh, shit. I didn't see who wrote that. Was that Kyle? It was Kyle. Okay. Like I said, this is only if Misty, because she's a Patreon, so she gets a slot. But if she can't come up with anything in time, I will do It Comes at Night. And that was Kyle something. Kyle. By the way, if you do not want your name mentioned in the video, please let me know now. I haven't mentioned them so far, but I might, because it could be a fun thing if you guys like kind of want to shout out, like, yes, I suggested that cool film, or yay, I made Clay suffer. So if that's your thing. Let me know if you really don't want your name out there. I know these are just usernames. I don't think Getty Squire is on that person's PO box, but want to be nice. Okay, cool, Mike. But nice one. So yeah, we got Before Midnight, something possibly from Misty. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Fred the Movie, God Damn It, Jamie. Aramentari from Mike, and potentially It Comes at Night by Kyle. Getty, I will clip it. I clipped the last two, so I will clip it again. Well, you guys feel free to clip it, though. I think you can only... I don't know if you can clip now or only when the stream is done. I think you can clip now. I don't know if it works like Twitch. But feel free to clip it. If not, I will do it on my own right after this stream. But that... I'm going to call it here. It's been 2.5 hours. You guys have been amazing. Since we already did the wheel game, next stream, which will likely be next weekend, maybe you should stream yourself watching Fred. I could on Discord. I could absolutely do that. That's actually not a bad idea at all. Probably won't be this month. Probably be early January. But yeah, thanks, Robert. You guys have been fantastic. Anyone new to this channel, check out the channel. Even if you don't swing by on the Patreon, just check out some of the videos. Horror, James Bond, new movies, all the stuff is there. Swing by the Discord, you know how it is. And everyone else, thank you for coming back. These streams are a lot of fun for me. We had a packed house today, which is fantastic. And hopefully I'll have this tier list horror movie out in a few days. And the December fan picks out at the end of the month. So, as always, you guys are wonderful. Enjoy your Saturday. And I will update in Discord and the community tab when I'll stream next. Fantastic. Wonderful time. Had so much fun today. See you guys. Oh, God, Fred. I'm not looking forward to that. Gonna need more of this for sure. All right. See you guys.